We're going to start a new project with some milk paint. Here's what the finish is going to look like when we're all done. I just wanted to give you a little teaser before we started. It is a great way to get a chippy, worn finish with just a little bit of work. So it's pretty easy, and I hope you guys enjoy. I am using the brand The Real Milk Paint for this project. So I got out a couple colors. A pink, two forms of pink. One is like a purpley pink and the other one's like a sweetheart pink. I think it was gypsy pink, and sweetheart was the name of it. The thing about milk paint, it comes in a powder form, so you measure equal parts of paint and water. The container comes with a little marble in it, so you just shake it up. Shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. You let it sit for like 20 minutes. In the meantime, I put a base coat down of white on this dresser. And what I'm doing, instead of using the milk paint's actual chippy paste, I went ahead and grabbed some wax. And what I am using is an oil-based wax. So the brand that I pulled was DIY Wax. And it's a very oily wax. You can see the wax outline on the white. What I'm doing is just picking some spots, applying some wax. What's this going to do? It's going to provide a resist for the milk paint. The milk paint will not stick to the wax. So as you can see, as I'm painting the first layer, the bright pink, it is not sticking to where I applied the wax. This is a really cool thing, because what's going to happen is when this paint dries, it's going to chip off in those areas, giving you a distressed finish without even doing any work. It's really fun. So the milk paint, I am just using one coat of this first color, which is that hot pink, and it you can just see right away, see the spots where it's where I hit it with the oil-based wax, right? It already looks cool. It could just stay like this and be done. How fun would that be? But we don't want to do that. We want to go through the whole process. So I'm going to let it dry in between coats. Like I said, it's just, you can see right there, right where the wax was, it totally just doesn't even adhere, which is what we want, right? Look at how cool that looks. It kind of almost looks like little cells like you use with the fluid painting. So that's going to let that layer dry, and then we're going to add a second coat. So I'm going to go ahead and take my wax again and go over those areas and go right on top, so that way I am sure that the paint doesn't stick on this go around. I'm just going right over it with some more wax and then actually protecting that, and then I'm going to add wax on top of the hot pink, right, in random spots. That's going to ensure that the hot pink will show through. I'm going to grab the next color, which I believe is called Sweetheart, and add it. It's a lighter pink, and just go over and just we're going to do 2 coats on this. This will be the final coat. You can see where it is still doing the resist, and then where I put the wax in the new spots, it will resist again. Right? It's going to get ugly. Remember, before it gets pretty, this is how the process works. Remember, we are going for a super chippy, worn look. This is not a super flawless finish. This is the chippy, good, just looks like it's been sitting out in a barn, vintage looking piece. And this is how you're going to achieve it with paint. It's actually really simple. Remember, the wax is what helps give you that resist. So you can see when I apply the lighter pink shade that it is just not covering in those areas where I have applied the wax. So just keep at it, just put the coat on and then apply a second coat. I do let it wait overnight, because generally what's going to happen is after it dries, it is going to flake off in areas. That way you can make sure that it's totally cured. So I came in the next day, I grabbed my putty knife, and I just started scraping across the surface. Everywhere where we put the wax, the paint will flake right off, exposing the underlying layers, which were white and the darker pink. This is where we start to get that chippy, worn finish. I am not able to scratch any of the other stuff off unless I put the wax on. I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of sandpaper and just smooth out and actually make sure that I didn't miss any that I wasn't able to see. This is going to be such a fun finish. You're just going to keep doing that to the whole piece until you get done. See how much it's flaked off? I am using a 150 to go ahead and give me more distressing on the corners and edges, and just adding so you can see the dark pink and the white come through the bottom. This is really messy too. Just dust it off. Make sure you're out on a shop floor or something like that, or have a tarp underneath you. Isn't it fun? It's kind of satisfying to just flake off the paint. It comes off really easy, but where there was no wax applied, it doesn't come off. So now I've got it all chipped off and sanded down. Now I'm going to actually wax to seal my piece. This is not going to make the paint chip off because the paint's already dry. This is going to seal the paint, darken the color, and just seal the paint. Now I am using Wise Owl's wax. It's my favorite because it's an oil-based wax too. So I'm using that to just seal this. And I'm always going to add clear wax before I add any type of dark wax to my surface. And this is just a coat of clear wax. You put it on, you buff it off. Wax is my go-to when I paint. It is my favorite way to seal paint. You could also use a clear coat, but I prefer wax because we're going to add a dark wax and a white wax to this finish to give it even more added age and distinction. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a can of dark wax, and my dark wax go-to is black wax, and I'm using my DIY wax. I've used so many different products on this. It doesn't matter, you guys. Intermix your paints and your waxes. That's okay. So I'm going to get really into the crevices and any kind of little things here that I can get into with my wax brush. And I'm really filling that wax in there. Then I'm going to take my microfiber rag and I'm going to wipe it off. And what that does is allows it to just have a shimmer of darkness and dirt and just amazingness, right? Look at how fun it's going to be. Do you see now how all the crevices are now suddenly, you can see them? We've added dimension. Make sure you get that wax all into the inner little crooks and nooks. Now, if you feel that you've applied too much dark wax to the surface like I had here, just dip your rag into your clear wax and wipe it back. It'll erase whatever you've done. So I like the DIY dark wax because it's super creamy. It is an oil-based wax. So if you decided you didn't like this, you would have to sand it all off or take mineral spirits to remove it. But I love it. It's exactly what I wanted the piece to look like. I wanted it to just look old and just been sitting out and have chips and, right? The difference. So see the right to the left? You see the difference? And I decided to go ahead and go in with some white wax to give it more of a gray greige in the black areas, to lighten it up a little bit because there is white on here. So I added some, this is DIY's white wax, super creamy. And it just put it on and then wipe it off. So just play with your waxes. Waxes can be a little intimidating for people, but don't be afraid. As long as you put a clear wax coat down first, it'll help you to erase any mistakes that you make with your wax. Because if for some reason you didn't like how the wax turned out, you could just dip your rag back in clear wax and erase it. Wax will cure within about 30 days and it'll make your surface super hard and your finish extremely hard and durable. There's no need to re-wax it every 6 months. That is not true. These waxes are high quality and they're going to last and make your piece look great. I'm just adding a little bit of clear wax to my rag to wipe back the white wax just a little bit more so that it's just peeking through. More of a peekaboo than the whole thing. The whole idea is to make it look subtle and not deliberate, right? Like it's natural, naturally aged. So I sure hope that you guys have really enjoyed this process. I sure had fun doing this piece. I can paint in all different styles, but just being creative and just kind of being out of the box is really some of the most fun you can have with painting. Because remember, you guys, guess what? If you don't like it, you can paint it again. It's not going to hurt anything if you decide to paint this. I'll tell you a little secret. This piece had been painted previously twice and I didn't like it. It'd been sitting on my floor for a while and I decided to repaint it, and this is what I came up with. So I will tell you that I sold this piece within an hour of finishing it. So I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, I also have Facebook page, Instagram, Pinterest. It's Tona Transformations. But please hit the subscribe button to get more and more videos. And let me know what you think in the comments. You guys go out and be fabulous. My name's Debbie Tona. Thank you so much for watching.